Welcome to the Litecoin Summit. My name is Chris Rice. I'm going to be moderating this panel using social media to reach new audiences. I am the host of Rice TVX. I cover crypto from a cypherpunk, anarchist perspective, covering crypto, blockchain, economics, politics. I have a new channel I'm also starting that's non-crypto related because I'm dealing with a lot of controversial stuff and dealing with a lot of strikes. So you can check out my brand new channel. It's got an introduction video. It's called Rice Against the Grain. Again, I'm going to be moderating this panel. It's all about using social media to reach new audiences. And I will take an opportunity to also say, since getting involved in cryptocurrency, the very first crypto I bought was Bitcoin. And the second cryptocurrency I owned, the very first altcoin, was Litecoin. I'm a big Litecoin proponent, and I'm excited to be here. And now I'm going to go ahead and let everyone else who's a part of the panel introduce themselves, and we will start with Ms. Crypto Wendy O.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Yes, you can. Hi, I'm Wendy. I have, who am I? What do I do? Well, lots of things. But I have a YouTube channel. I'm on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I have the largest audience on YouTube as a female content creator when it comes to crypto and NFTs. So yeah, I just like to talk about Bitcoin, crypto, privacy, liberty, NFTs, any of that type of stuff. And I root for the underdogs.
Next up, we have the man himself, Mr. Tom Crown.
I won't waste too much time because I've already introduced myself, but yeah, content creator on YouTube. I published other platforms as well, and apparently I MC events. That's my new thing now, so I'm glad to be here.
All right. Next up, we have Crypto Jack, who just got done his TA workshop, right?
That's it, yeah, it went pretty good. Thank you for those of you who were there. So I guess I'm up here because I stream on Twitch, and I wanted to kind of trailblaze on that platform, which is traditionally for like modern warfare and video games and stuff like that, but I wanted to use it as a way to visually show charts behind me and go that way. And it turned out pretty good, so I guess I'm one of the top crypto technical analysis streamers on Twitch, and trying to do some other stuff with it, whatever, but enjoying that, having a lot of fun with it, and have a good community. So.
Awesome. Well, last but definitely not least, we have Miss Danielle Monet. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi guys. Some of y'all were at the panel earlier, but Danielle Monet in WWE. I was a wrestler under name Summer Rae. Been in the crypto space for a little bit and do marketing and social media consulting for a startup and another company as well.
Awesome. Give you guys yourselves a round of applause for being here. I appreciate all of you for coming to Las Vegas.
Thank you, thank you.
So the name of the panel, again, is using social media to reach new audiences. And I thought that was more of a statement versus a question. So what I kind of like to do is ask everybody, and just go down the line like we did with the introductions, of where did you start putting your content, and how have you started expanding out beyond where you started initially?
Oh, so I actually got on crypto Twitter, and I didn't know that there was a section of crypto Twitter, but a family of a friend was like, at the end of 2017, he's like, you gotta join crypto Twitter. And I was like, I hate social media, it's so stupid, so weird. Because I come from the MySpace days. I know I'm dating myself here. But when I logged on crypto Twitter, I saw all these anonymous cartoon characters trading and posting their charts and making money, and I was like, oh, if they could do this, I can do this. I have a little bit of a math background. I worked in healthcare 7 years. So I taught myself how to trade. I started posting my content on Twitter, and people loved it because I was the only girl trading, I guess, or posting content there, and I didn't know what I was doing. So then I started posting it on Instagram, and then I started posting it on YouTube. Well, I started a YouTube channel to live stream my meetups to my global audience because I was doing like live TA meetups, and people loved it. And then I started covering the news and charts and interviews, reviews, all kinds of stuff. And then TikTok came along. I was like, oh, I listened to BitBoy Crypto, Ben, a good friend of mine, and he's like, you should post stuff on TikTok. I was like, no, I should have listened to him because I would have like 2 million followers now. But then I started, using TikTok, and it's been a really, really great tool to reach a lot of different people from different backgrounds. And the thing I'm most proud of that I've posted on TikTok is probably the cancel PayPal movement. Due to that $2,500 penalty, they wanted to charge people for posting misinformation. And I'm not really big on cancel culture, but something like that was important, and it worked because people canceled their PayPal accounts, their Venmo accounts, and PayPal retracted their statement or their change to TOS later on that evening.
It was an accident. Just an accident, right?
It's just an accident,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What about you, Mr. Tom Crown?
Yeah, I have a good answer. So I started on YouTube, and I found myself in actually similar content to Wendy and Jack. We do kind of charts and trading and things, and that's very niche. They're, even people here, maybe even Litecoiners, aren't the most active traders in general because they're mostly older in the space, been in the space longer. But it's very niche in that sense, and the question was kind of how do you reach new audiences? And so actually over the last maybe 3 or 4 months, I have been working with an editor to create content that isn't specific to crypto. And that probably doesn't sound crazy, but it is for my channel. My channel has been very hard to watch for a long time for the wrong people. Like, I wouldn't watch my own channel for hours and hours and hours. It's just very technical, very dry. There's definitely people out there, but I'm working with this guy, and we've really managed to make the content a balance of entertainment and enjoyment with some education, and it reaches a new audience because we've also removed the crypto word, and it's just trading in general, and this has brought people who aren't in the crypto space into some of the crypto content. So it is reaching new people, and it's been very successful. I'm very happy with it.
Okay. Now, Jack, I know you mentioned Twitch. Is Twitch the only platform you're utilizing?
No, it's just the primary one. I also have a YouTube channel as well. It's just, the Crypto Jack on YouTube. I think the O is a 0, right? I'm kind of new to the game. I'm still learning little tricks like that. You shouldn't do that, actually. You should have like a seamless name across different platforms, but we'll figure it out. But how I wanted to come into the space and stand apart, the way I kind of visualized it, I said, okay, look, if you're a content creator, I imagine there's like a slider bar, and you have to pick usually one way or the other. You're either very entertaining, and it doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter at all. Like, you're just fun. And then on the complete other side, you're deadly accurate, but you're probably pretty dry, right? And you're not all that fun to watch. I'm actually more on that one. Like, I'm kind of dry. I put up I like the charts and just the charts and that kind of stuff. But where that has kind of like shown and where that's kind of helped me gain some traction is if, in the midst of everyone being very euphoric, let's say, Bitcoin to $1 million in 6 months, these kind of crazy things, but in the moment, people get kind of hyped up about it. If you can very kind of dryly and in a logic-based way, point to a chart and say, no, look, here's why we're done, like it's over. Not trying to be, throw water on the parade here, but there's a good chance we're done, and here's why, statistically speaking, and kind of go into it. Well, in the moment, your viewership does like this, and then if it actually like plays out like that, your viewership kind of does like this. So it's like a kind of a long-term strategy, but it's the way that I personally wanted to do it. I didn't want to do it any other way. If I had to bend on the way that I wanted to go about doing things, it wasn't worth doing. I wouldn't do it. So for me, I would rather be in a position to maybe help people, not at, let's say, 70K Bitcoin, there's a group of people who say, maybe I should go 100x long, like right now. Well, if I can talk 1 or 2 people off the ledge from actually doing that and save their marriage and their mortgage and everything, then hey, I won, So that was kind of my mindset coming into the space.
But Jack, this didn't age well.
What's that?
This didn't age well.
Why?
No, because those are the comments I get all the time with the bad
No,
TA
this
call.
didn't age well.
This
No
won't
matter
age
what.
well.
You didn't call that one, did you? Yeah, I was like, okay, calm down, guy.
Gotta
Good
love the
guy.
trolls.
Yeah.
So, Danielle, you don't have a
For
YouTube
me.
channel, do you?
No, gosh, no.
No, obviously, but you do.
It's
videos.
hard. The YouTube streets are hard to build right now, but it's coming back around, actually. So I was very different than everyone up here. I have my social media platforms because of wrestling, and being in that world, which is interesting because the wrestling world and the crypto world are very similar, is what I'm learning. Getting recognized at crypto things like, how do I know you? So yeah, I have 1.7 million followers on Instagram and just under 1 million on Twitter, and I forget about my Twitter all the time, which is big, crypto Twitter I'm learning. But so for me, it was interesting learning the space. I've been working with Get Hedge, Get Paid in Crypto, in case you don't know, and working with them and hearing, they were just teaching me about crypto, Bitcoin, Litecoin, mining, very simple. And in return, I was kind of telling them, well, why does your social media look like this? And, what are you doing on Twitter? And what is your logo? Why would it look, so boring when it could be a cute hedgehog or something that could actually, from a marketing standpoint, people could say, oh, that's an app. What's that little guy over there? So, I was very hesitant, of course, seeing all of the Instagram models sell their souls for certain coins that, turn out to get rug pulled. So I was very cautious in getting into that side of it and selling, my soul for money, because then also now, as you see in the news and people getting fined and sued, it's a very slippery slope, and it's kind of the wild, wild west out there where no one really knows taxes wise or legally what could happen. So it was interesting for me, a lot of these companies that don't have younger people or millennials in it, that they actually did want to have my point of view of social media and how we can create content and create videos, just basic one-on-one stuff that for us on the stage doesn't seem hard, but for maybe some other people it's a little more challenging. So that's kind of where I've snuck into the space. And now unfortunately all my friends ask me what they should spend their money on, and I have to tell them, I can't tell you unless you call me.
It's a great way to lose friends.
No paper trail.
So when I first started myself, I was specifically YouTube, and then had to start promoting what I did, because if you don't, no one's going to really watch your stuff. So that led me to start utilizing Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, things to that effect. And I'm really not a big fan of social media at all. One of my things that I lack in is engagement. So I will go up and post things to let people know what's going on, but I'm not really spending a lot of time having conversations with people. But one of the things that I'm really trying to do is promote a lot of these platforms that are helping with free speech. Your platforms like Odyssey, which is using the backbone of Library, LBRY, which is dealing with a SEC law case right now, lawsuit case. They're very big proponents of free speech, and they allow for people to speak freely without being censored, because that is one of the things that I personally am dealing with a lot, is censorship. I've had over 30 videos removed and maintained having at least one strike on my YouTube channel for the past 2 years. So it's been pretty ridiculous as far as how they censor people and don't even try to let people know what they are saying that is wrong. They're just letting people know that you have violated terms and policies, which is really unfortunate. And another platform that I've started utilizing that I have a lot of faith in is Rumble. They seem to be making a really big impact in the free speech movement. They're bringing on a lot of different controversial people that YouTube is censoring, namely one that most people are familiar with, Russell Brand. His channel got censored on YouTube. He has been reporting news from a very midline standpoint, not taking sides, and they're censoring him. So he's utilizing those platforms. Now, one of the things that I kind of want to ask you guys is, like for me, and this is one, I guess, where you specifically, Wendy, is with TikTok. I tried making little videos and nothing, I can't get a message out in this little short attention span that people have. And that's another thing too that I don't like TikTok, because I feel like it's dumbing down people and it's taking away people's attention span to even focus.
Right, so I want to see your TikToks. Like, what are you dancing? Are you?
No, there's none. There's none. I was trying to attempt short form video, and it's like, I don't even know how to do it.
Well, I can answer that for you. So this is what you need to know.
Okay.
Free knowledge. Oh, here we go, free content.
Get ready with me. No, so basically, we know that the public school system in the United States is purposely dumbing down our kids because that's what they do. Because if you have a group of people who are not able to use critical thinking, if you have a group of people that can't think for themselves, that cannot question authority, that cannot have articulate conversations, who cannot make points, who can't show decency, create boundaries, you're going to have a bunch of sheep, which then in turn will be easier to govern. So. So this is the thing. TikTok and these short media content forms, they're not going anywhere. So what we need to do, the best way to go about it is to watch what some of the larger accounts are doing, see what works for them, but then put our content out in that similar format so it hits the algorithm properly. And it's a really hard thing to do. Not all my videos hit. My goal for TikTok is to create 1 to 5 videos per day that are anywhere between 15 and 60 seconds and get 10,000 views per video. It's hard to do because they've changed the algorithm. But at the same time, it's also helped me become a better thinker and be able to push out concepts and ideas in a very, very short amount of time. And let's face it, even with YouTube, if you cannot put out an idea in a very short and concise manner, nobody's gonna watch your stuff. I know that that sucks because it's we wanna be able to talk about these complex things, but the way society is going, we have to we have to work with it and not necessarily against it. And the way that we are able to fight back is by putting out content, putting out ideas that challenge people's thinking. So that's my answer to your question.
No, that's a really good answer. I appreciate you sharing that too.
The best thing, I was on Wendy's podcast last January, and the first thing I told her offline, because we had never met, we had chatted online, was I loved her short form content. I loved how you could get something under 60 seconds. And I personally, though I do enjoy long-form content, I love TikTok, and I hate that I love TikTok, and I hate that I watch my news on TikTok, but there's so much overload. There's so much content overload, and everyone does have a short attention span, so being able to push out something that is simplified, everyone wants to mansplain everything, and especially being newer in a space, me watching Wendy's short little snippets, if I wanted more from that, then I could go to a YouTube or a long form content where you're getting the big bucks being paid. TikTok is paying little to nothing. So it's a way to get the attention, grab it, and then go, do I actually want to learn more about that, or do I just want to put in the group chat hey, I learned this or whatever. So I think it's a skill that not a lot of people have. It's hard with the analytics, it's hard with the chart reading, but it's something that is great for hot points. PayPal, being able to grab attention within the first 2 to 3 seconds is really interesting, and if you're not doing a shock and awe, and you're actually giving really good, reputable information, I think it's something that Wendy does really well. And then also committing to content, committing to putting it out there. I think the number one reason people are not successful is because they can't continuously put things out. They give up. The reason why, consistency. The reason why people don't lose weight is because they don't see results in 3 to 4 months. You will always outwork someone if you're consistent for 6 months, 8 months, 1 year. My stuff on TikTok gets 30 views, no lie, 30 views. And it's really fun, awesome stuff, by the way. And no one gives a shit. And so I don't care, I'm just doing that for fun. But if it was my business plan, putting something 3 to 4 videos out a day, even if you're just reposting it, people are not consistent. People want to get rich fast, get famous fast. And so I think that's something that I tell for people, not just in crypto, all over, whatever space you're in, is just being consistent. You'll always end up on top.
So question for you two ladies. What if someone talked about kind of boring stuff and wasn't pretty?
Yeah.
What's the...
Just getting some info.
Well,
you need a good little catchphrase.
That's it? I'm one catchphrase
Yeah, you're one catchphrase away. Also, something that I also think works great for TikTok is reintroducing yourself every time, not in the first sentence, but Wendy doesn't have to do it, and most people up here wouldn't have to do it because they're very known, but being able to say something, grab your attention, like, want to know why your wife hates you? And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. Like, I didn't want to, but thanks. And then it's like, hey, I'm Bill, relationship expert, blah, 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 and this is why you should know. So having that every single video, like, I know some people's catchphrases in my head. I'm like, who is that guy, Tom, again? So, yeah, that's another thing that's interesting with consistency. And so, to answer your question, you don't always have to be a pretty girl. You don't. My shit flops all the time. And so, yeah, having like that one-liner where you reintroduce yourself, because if one video does hit and you have 1 million followers, they're like, well, who's this person again? So, having things, people like feeling normal. They like feeling safe in a space.
Wendy hit it perfectly. Is shorts. I hated shorts when they came out. I just didn't get it. They're not going anywhere. They're only, media is moving more and more towards the short format. It's not going anywhere. And if you want to be a creator, I think it's something you're going to have to face at some point. And we're talking about, this is about new audiences. And that's even what I was saying earlier with my new content is it's short content. And it's geared for, people, there's a broader range of people. And that applies, I think, specifically to younger people can watch my shorts versus my YouTube. They could watch my YouTube, but like I said, it's not interesting. It's all about grabbing the attention in the first second, getting people to bite on the video, and that's really like a metaphor for creating content in general. Is you have to get people to bite before they can listen to you. That's why clickbait is everywhere, like thumbnails that you hate. It's just because if you don't click it, no one sees it.
I have a good follow-up to that. Back when I was very first getting started, 2 years ago, I guess, 2.5 years ago, I had 5 concurrent viewers, and I had
one of them.
And Tom was one of them. And I had some of these world-class setups that I wanted to get this message out. Like Ethereum was at $300. It had completed a certain pattern, and I still have the clip where I was like, look, if this pattern is right, I think it is, this is the cheapest Ethereum you'll see for the next 4 years, something like that. And it was across the board. Litecoin was doing a thing, Ethereum did a thing, on and on. And so I was venting that frustration to a friend of mine who was much more established. I think it was on something else. I can't remember what platform. It wasn't YouTube, maybe Instagram. I don't know. But anyway, he goes, look, you have to trick your audience. I said, what do you mean? He goes, think about it. It's the reason there's billboards. It's the reason there's this and that. It's the reason churches have funny things outside to get in new members. He said, you got to trick people into coming and then save their souls. It's like kind of a 1-2 step. And I was like, dang, that's a pretty cool way of thinking about it. And he goes, so it's fine. Play the game, do the flashy little this and that, whatever. Do a giveaway, get them in the door, and then teach them what, now that they're there, they're a captured audience, you can teach them stuff to walk away a little bit smarter.
Well, one thing too that I really want to stress to people is, there's a complete other side to the equation, and that is the audience. So if you guys watch any of us, or you have different content creators, influencers that you really enjoy, make sure you're doing your best to engage, like the videos, subscribe, follow, comment. All those things ultimately help us out, helps us to grab the algorithm's attention so that ultimately we can get our messages out. So I really encourage everyone. Some people don't take the time to like videos, they just watch them. But if you think about it, just try to take that opportunity to engage, like, subscribe, follow, because it really does help what we do. And without that, we can't get our messages out, period.
I got a follow-up question, if that's okay, and I want your opinion too, because I honestly don't know. So for the panel, all right, we went from YouTube, long content, now the short content stuff like the shorts on TikTok or whatever. What's next, or is there next?
Even shorter videos. 1 second videos. I don't know.
I think, to be honest, I think what's going to happen is we're seeing Twitter go through this really big change with the new ownership that's coming into play. We're also seeing TikTok allow people to add stories similar to Instagram. Then we're seeing that you're allowed to post 10-minute videos, to have subscription basis live streams on TikTok. To where it's kind of similar to Patreon. So I think what's going to happen, we're going to see all of this come to a head probably in the next 2 to 5 years, and we're going to see which platform is going to be on top, because all the different platforms are taking from each other platform and trying to see who's better. We saw Twitter integrate Spaces, which destroyed Clubhouse. Right. And let me tell you something, if it wasn't for Twitter Spaces, probably this conference would be cut in half with the amount of people in attendance, because we're in a bear market, in a very, very scary bear market. And but basically we're just going to see which platform is going to be like the best, that can incorporate everything, that can incorporate similar tweets or videos, short content, and then who has the best monetization.
And that's why it's really important to do what feels best to you and what doesn't feel like work. Because if you're trying to catch up with a trend, and for example, like, we all love Wendy, and we're like, oh, I want to be like her, which there's nothing wrong with, like, you know, following who you like and trying to mimic that. It's great to have, you know, a mentor in a space, but doing what you think is great, you're going to set your own trend. And if you really are super organic with it and feel comfortable, that comes through the lens. Like, everyone is so fake now. That's another thing that is really interesting in the influencer space that they're seeing right now, is the downfall of celebrities, the downfall of the Kardashians selling products. People are sick of it. And now they want to see real cellulite, real people with issues and wrinkles and things that have said, listen, like, I'm a mother of 4 and I don't have time to do that. Give me my 10-minute booty blaster, you know? And you're like, all right. And so it's interesting is there was a couple of viral videos on TikTok of where girls were doing makeup reviews in their car. And they were like, oh, I couldn't wait to get home. I wanted to try this on. And it seemed so authentic and real that I know that they're getting paid, and I went straight to Sephora. And so it was interesting is Kylie Jenner then did it with her lip kit, and she like accidentally dropped the phone and like made it seem very natural and organic, and everyone called her out and was like, you're just trying to be with the trend. So I think there really is this part where people don't care anymore if you're a celebrity. They want to see the guy with the grid that's boring, and because he actually wants to learn. So
Thank you.
It's great.
Thank you for lying to me.
Hold on.
I've never watched a video of yours. I can't wait to go watch.
I think that was a compliment, I think.
It was a very big compliment. It's all coming back your way. But yeah, people are just really sick of something that's unauthentic. So if you really have a passion and drive and you're speaking to the camera like this and that's all you want, people will come. Like, don't go after the crowd because you're already too late. You have to create your own wave. That's the cheesiest thing I've ever said.
I actually want to piggyback off what Danielle said, because one of the biggest, I get a lot of DMs and emails and stuff, and people are like, how do I create content? Where do I start? Where do I start? I was like, if you have the inclination that you want to create content, just do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, just do it. And honestly, it's always worth it. Even if your channel ends up not taking off, or even if it does take off, you might be able to impact one person in a whole entire different region than yourself. And you can change that person's entire trajectory. So if you're somebody here that's interested in creating content, I think you should. Like, when I worked in healthcare, one of the biggest things was just making somebody's day. And it could be something simple, just saying like, how are you doing today? And sometimes they would get caught back, and I still do that, whether I go to Target or whether I go to the grocery store or the thrift store. I always make sure I make eye contact with each cashier or whomever and say, hi, how are you doing? Or even in the drive-thru, and they like get caught off guard. So if you're somebody who's interested in, you know, you have a message you want to put out, or you just want to try content, see if it's for you, just fucking do it.
Yeah, it's quit procrastinating, because that was
Yeah.
actually what I did. I was ready to start my channel like summer of 2017, and it took until January of 2018 until I actually did it. So if you want to do it, just do it. And I'm not a big fan of a lot of the big YouTubers like your PewDiePies, but I happened to be watching a video of PewDiePie, and he said that. He's like, don't worry, just do it. And as you do it, you'll be able to learn. Because I was thinking I needed to have a certain kind of camera. I needed to have a certain mic. I needed to have this so I looked more professional. And I just started with my laptop, with the camera on the laptop and the microphone on the laptop, and then just started upgrading as I went. Phones are an awesome way. I've seen some big channels just run off a phone. Max Kaiser with the Kaiser Report was specifically just using iPhones and editing off 2 or 3 iPhones. So there's completely a lot of ways that people can do this.
When I travel, I used to have to carry a big laptop for content. I do my YouTube videos on my cell phone, and I use TikTok because the technology there is unmatched.
That's really good. And that's another thing too that because I get a lot when I just meet people and they're like, hey, what's your Instagram? Let's exchange Instagrams. And then they see mine, they're like, oh, I only have like 500 followers. Or like they always like are super like dismissive of themselves. And it's really interesting, a lot of women that come up to me are like, oh, I want to start my own brand, I want to start this, but I only have 700 followers. I'm like, imagine if 700 followers cared about what you did. You actually have 700 followers that are all gonna buy your shirts. I remember when I came out with merch, even after I was just on a massive pay-per-view in January, and I don't even think I had 700 people buy my shirts. I have 1.7 million followers. Right now on my Instagram stories, I'm lucky if I'm getting 5,000 views on my Instagram stories. Horrible. Like, I must be shadow banned, whatever, it's fine. But it's so interesting. If you have like really loyal 50 moms that really care about being a stay-at-home mom, or finance bros, 50 of them, and they're really great, you're changing 50 people's lives, they're gonna go create their content and always talk about you. So what if they're the next $1 million people and they're pushing it back to his page? It's like, people are so dismissive of like, oh, I only have 30 people. How great is that? You have 30 people you're teaching. So yeah, you can't be scared to just get that like niche audience that can turn a profit.
Yeah,
Hey, real quick, just want to let everybody know we've got to get ready to wrap it up.
Okay.
Everyone starts from zero. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, don't be
Biggest
afraid.
barrier is mental. That's the big one. And the only point I wanted to make is that you're like one touch, like one finger touch away from making it, or making it your full-time job. There's this infamous story on Twitch. This guy, he lived out in the middle of nowhere near the ocean. He wanted to do a Twitch stream on waxing a surfboard or something. So he set up his little camera thing, and he started, and he was very humble. He had like 50 people or less because it had been hyped up a little bit. And he said, hey, you guys, don't sub to me, don't give me money. I just want to show y'all how to do this thing. It's pretty cool. And so he did it. He's a very, very modest guy. Someone blasted him with about 1,000 subscribers, and then some big money donations, and then rated him with several thousand viewers as well. And that, changed his life. Now he had a base who was made aware of him. It went on to be something, if he can make it into his future life if he wanted to. But whatever that is, it could be, knitting or charting or, whatever, technical analysis. You're one step away from somebody who's way bigger than you saying, kind of shining the spotlight, saying, hey, check this dude out. And then you're good, you're set.
Well said. Well said. Well, I thought it was a great panel. If you guys want, do you want to? Anybody have any final thoughts as we go down the line? Anything you want to wrap up
I
with?
think we're gonna take like a 10-minute, unless someone has something really deep to share. Wendy,
I have
Wendy
something-
does.
I have something deep to share. The world is in a really sad place right now. So just go be kind to somebody, even if it's just smile, you hold a door open for somebody, you buy them a coffee. Just showcase kindness. Even if you're having a really shitty day, the person sitting next to you may be having an even worse day. That's all.
I'm not trying to be perma bulljack, perma bearjack, just charts jack. Just whatever the charts are telling you, that is all I'm good for. That's all I'm here for. And nothing else. I'm not your hype man. I'm not your bear guy telling you to sell.